Hey, hey.
Hey, hey, we are back
We are
in the
back.
studio.
Yeah. Thank you for having live conversations with Jason and Tina Marie. All right, we'll be right back after this. So, who are we?
Jason and Tina Marie.
Let's cue the
Welcome to Loving Beyond the I Do podcast. This power couple is building stronger marriages one day at a time, talking about real issues on love, relationships, and marriage longevity. Let's break down the barriers and engage in healthy conversation with your hosts, Jason and Tina Marie. Take a seat and buckle up because things are about to get real.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey,
Man, it feels good to be back.
to be back. We are excited. We are excited to be here. We're glad that you are tuning in with us to hear the conversation tonight. So, we are going to just jump right in. We just want to let you guys know that took a little vacation. Sometimes you got to take a little
Well, you
vacation.
do. You do. Right. Sometimes you just need a break.
You
Right.
do need a break.
Right. We work hard.
Yes.
So,
So we took a break
mhm.
and we went and did some workshops, some events, and we had a wonderful time. We went and met some new friends, visited some new places, and we just want to give a shout out to everyone who supported us. Who
During the
support
break?
no, who supported us with our workshops and
Oh,
events.
yes.
So we just want to say thank you. We do want to give a special shout out to the Unity South Atlanta.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Woo-hoo. I don't know if Jason got a
Well,
little thing on it.
I don't.
So we're gonna just start getting back. So you guys got to make sure all the little bells and whistles we normally do. We're gonna get back to that. But we want to give a special shout out to them because we enjoyed
Oh, my God.
ourselves
Joy, they-
tremendously. So we did an
Well,
event
treat
there.
us well. My
Yes,
goodness.
yes. And so that is with the senior minister, Greta Counts,
Yes.
and to her entire family and congregation. Thank you so much for welcoming us with open arms. We
Yeah.
truly appreciate it. We love it, and it's still in our hearts. We had an amazing time. Anything you want to say? Because I'm just talking.
Yeah, you know what? We did have an amazing time. There's some amazing people. The workshop was off the chain. They received us well. The information was received well. It was just wonderful. But that's what they say about the South, right? That people know how to treat and they give that warm hospitality and stuff. It's great. I mean, because hey, listen, it was like family. It wasn't like work at all. It was a lot of fun.
It
Really
was.
enjoyed it.
It was. And so this is a different setup for us, and we're trying to get it all together here tonight.
Yep.
All right.
That's what you think. Yeah, it's a little
All
different.
right. So as usual, let everyone know if you are tuning in, we cannot see your names. So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Thank you. Please give us drop your name. Just write a comment real quick. Drop your name so that we can shout you out, so that we can recognize you. You don't have to say anything. We just want to give you a shout out and say thank you that you are here with us. All right. Mia says, I'm in.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So if you're out there, just drop your name in the comments, all right? So we can just say, hey,
Hey,
say
just let us know
hello.
that you're watching.
That's right. Anybody else?
Nope.
All right. So just drop your name as we go along. So tonight's topic is about managing stress. All right.
Ooh.
So we want to thank everybody again for the time that we were off and all the, sometimes we got a few emails when you guys coming back. So we appreciated that. It's glad to know that we were missed.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start off. So tonight's topic, if you want to join the conversation, all you have to do is write a comment in the comment section and we will recognize you and we will go back and forth with the questions or comments or answers. All right, so let's just jump right on into it.
Sure. I just want to make sure everybody can hear us well. If we're coming across okay, just let us know.
Yes, so if you can just put a one or a yes or a thumbs up if you can hear us well. Like I said, this is a new setup for us, so we're kind of working the bugs out. But we did want to say, so as we go back, these little gadgets right here that are here, there was a video online that if you saw the reel, Jason was doing this. So this summer or the August, September, when we went and did our workshops and events, we took these along with us
Yes.
so that people could participate and let us know what they thought. So tonight we'll be doing these and that means that we agree with you. We agree with you. All right. So, also we wanted to mention that you can view us either Facebook or YouTube, or you can also do it on our website at legendaryrelationship.com. And at the top right hand corner, just click on the live. All right.
Oh yeah.
We
yeah,
good?
That's fine. Yep.
All right.
So everyone said they can hear us just fine. We got thumbs up and everything else, so we are good to go.
Yeah, one time we had the conversation where nobody could hear. It was like, oh, we didn't hear anything.
You know, one of my fears is coming on live and having the microphones on mute. You know, and you're just sitting there and you're talking, you're just going on.
It's just as bad they couldn't hear us.
I know.
Right.
But we had some bad audio at at one time or another.
All right.
We're good now.
As I said before, if you are new to the show, to the conversation live, as we're talking, the whole setup is for you to communicate with us so that we can not only give advice and information and part of our own experience, but to also communicate and interact with our audience. So make sure that if you have a comment or a question or something that you might want to say, you can drop the line,
There you go.
put it in the comments, and we will make sure that we bring it up and acknowledge it.
Well, I hope we won't miss it because this is a new setup. So just bear with us.
That's right. We apologize ahead of time.
Yep. Oh, my guy's in here.
All right. All right. So,
Dennis. Hey, Dennis, how's it going, man?
Dennis is in the house.
Yep.
Happy Friday, Dennis.
Jason, which is great. Thank you very
All right.
much. Michelle, Mickey.
All right. We can hear you perfectly. Fantastic.
Yep. Sounds good.
So, as we talk about the topic managing stress,
Yes.
we chose this topic because so often we don't even realize the effects that stress is having not only on our relationship but on ourselves.
Yep.
So the first thing we want to talk about is how does stress affect your relationship? So I know with you and I, we've gone through some situations where not even realizing that stress was a part of the issue.
Right. Because it's undiagnosed and you really can't put your hand on it. So it's hard to say that, oh, I'm under a lot of stress.
So do you think so as we're talking about this, stress on the relationship with us in particular,
Yep.
I know that sometimes you would come in and just
Yep.
kind of blow a gasket, right? Be irritable, be upset, and most of the times people don't
True.
realize this. So the thing that got me with this particular topic is that we think that the stress of work or the stress of our family members or something else outside of our relationship has nothing to do with our relationship.
Right.
But anything that pertains to us pertains to our relationship.
For sure.
So how it affects us is that if I come in and I'm upset with a coworker or with work or something like that, and I'm easily agitated or I go off on something that had nothing to do with the person who's doing it, then that's an indication that there's some type of stress going on. Stress can affect your relationship in many different ways.
Sure. First sign is just being irritated with the person, right? So you come in and, like you said, you say, "Hey, how you doing? How's your day?" Or you mention one thing, and then they just kind of go off into a tangent, and they get irritated real easily.
I don't think people realize that. I don't think people
I know.
realize that to make a sign of sometimes we get into the habit that we're so stressed that it becomes our normal. It's a habit.
Right.
Right? It's a habit. And so therefore we can't recognize the signs when they're in front of us.
For
So-
sure.
so
But
then-
because the thing about stress is, what are the signs? There aren't any signs. I mean,
that there are signs, but we just don't realize them.
because you figure like, I'm tired or I'm irritated or work was kind of, stressful or, it was just a lot today. I'll be okay tomorrow.
So when we talk about that, when we talk about the stress, I know most of the times when we're dealing with our clients, the indication that is stress is that there's a lack of connection.
For sure.
right? So
Yeah.
even with us, there's a lack of connection.
Hmm.
We have a tendency, like you said, of being irritable. When you're not connected with your mate, then you have a tendency of then it turns into um, issues
Sure.
issues.
Yeah.
So the disconnect then leads to now you're not intimate with each other. Now you're
Yep.
not communicating with each other.
Right.
Now the issues that weren't issues now become issues. You're upset over the dishes not being done. You're upset over the floor not being swept. Or you have a tendency of, if it's something small, like we always talk about, laugh
The
about that last bag
bag
of
of
chips.
chips.
So it's not even about the last bag of chips,
For sure.
right?
No, it's right. So you're blowing up at any and everything, and you can't reason with the person. Your relationship is really in the tank because you guys are not communicating. You're not talking. You don't want to really be in the same room. You're just existing at this point. All right. You're just trying not to piss each other off versus being there and loving each other, which is a problem in itself because if you with the person you love, you shouldn't be trying to avoid them or not piss them off and being in the same space.
And I think this is really important because stress is one of those silent things that we
Yes.
don't even realize that it is in the midst of our relationship because it becomes a norm. It becomes the norm to us of how we handle each other, how we speak to each other, how we really operate
Yeah.
as a person. And then what that does is that then it takes over as the function of the body, right? So stress is one of those, as they say, silent killers.
It is. It
And
is.
so when we're talking about being careful with the relationship, it's not just the relationship of your mate, but the relationships with others. Because I know sometimes the stress of your family members can have a very big
I think
effect into
I,
the stress of your
I think
relationship.
stress and obligation, right? I'm obligated to help this person. I need to be there for this person. That's added stress sometimes. That may not be the case, right? But that may be just added pressure.
So here, you and I are arguing
Right.
over somebody else's issues that I'm
Issues.
helping them
Yeah,
with.
because I have to be there,
Right,
right?
right.
Right. Now that's pressure that I'm putting on myself.
And now you're arguing with me because I'm upset with the fact that you have to help someone else.
Exactly.
And so when we're talking about that, we have to be careful that the relationships that we have with our family members,
Yes.
the relationships that we have with our boss,
Yep.
right? So
Yeah,
signing
working at mandatory overtime and stuff. Yeah.
or just getting into the deadline. So I know there's
Yeah.
a lot of viewers out there that um, have very stressful jobs,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so they're up against deadlines. They're up against working 10, 12 hours or bringing the work home
Correct.
and then not being conscious or cognizant of the fact that, hey, this is taking a toll on my relationship.
Yep.
So we look at it as this is my job, I have to do it. And we put our mates last instead of putting our mates first. And then we want them to take a back seat. And then by taking that back seat, we look up down the road 5 or 6 months, a year, and now you've wondered how you've
For
drifted apart.
years, right?
Right,
And you
how
wonder
you've
how did
drifted
we get
apart.
here?
How did we get here?
Yeah.
Why are we not communicating? Why are we arguing all the time? And we think that is just the toll of a relationship, right? This is just kind of the way relationships go, but it's not. It's
And I
not
think the problem is too, we think we're in control. And
absolutely,
we're so
absolutely.
out of control is the
Yes.
problem. When you think you're in control of a situation and you clearly not, and then it just snowballs and then you start having health challenges, that's a whole nother level. That's the outward working of stress when you start to have your heart attacks, your strokes, and
And
things of that nature.
people don't even realize some of the signs of stress, right?
I
So
know.
so we're walking around thinking that, as you said, in control.
Yep.
I can manage this. I
Yep.
can manage being married. I can
Yep.
manage, arguing or being upset. I can manage my boss. I can manage the kids. And most of the time, it's us taking on too many tasks at one time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But as you said, we think we're in control, and all the time we're thinking, "Oh, I have a headache.
Yep.
Oh, my back hurts.
Yep.
Oh, I'm
These
aching."
chronic illnesses
That
that if you go to the physician, I mean, they probably gonna give you some medication or something, or they just can't diagnose it. They can't diagnose it because it's stress related.
stress plays a big toll on our bodies.
Yeah.
Uh, I know Jason and I, when we have done some of our studies and stuff, that we've realized the impact that stress has had in, you know, in your muscles, in your body, in
Yeah.
cardiovascular.
Yep.
Most of the time, when we have hypertension and high blood pressure and low breathing, it's because of the stress that we've taken on, and we're not managing it. And we're not managing it because we don't even know that it is stress. We think as Jason said, we think we're in control, but really it's controlling us. So we have to be be very aware. And I know one of the things that
And this is why we're having this conversation. When we say you need to be aware, it's not normal to always be on 10
to be irritated,
or
to
just be on
just
10,
jump.
just like super hyper, or I got to be in control of everything. I mean, that's a form of stress too. I got to run this, I have to do this, things have to go this way,
Where
and if
you can't
everything's
even
out of
come down.
right, you can be at that level for I mean, you can sustain it for a while, but once your body gets done and it can't handle it anymore, you start having mental episodes, you start having physical episodes.
And mental, we don't mean like you go crazy. We mean mental episodes in the sense of, like I said, headaches,
Right.
or not being able to remember things,
Hmm.
or just losing your focus.
Yeah.
All of those
Oh,
things.
focus is a yeah. I don't mean to cut you off,
Uh-huh.
but focus is another big one, right?
Yeah.
When you find yourself foggy, unclear, can't remember, those are signs of stress, not just necessarily being tired.
I know when Jason and I were in the process of doing a lot of things at one time, and we had a lot of deadlines to come up against. And I was sitting here one day, and I'm one of those people who feel like I'm always in control. Like I am gotten to a point where I can recognize things. And so I started getting this pain in the back of my neck, and it was like really, really tense. And I was like, Jason, like I've gotten this pain, and I haven't gotten this pain in a long time. And he was like, well, maybe it's the stress. And like it didn't even occur to me that it was stress.
Right.
It didn't even, it was just like, maybe we're sitting here too long. Maybe. But
Mhm.
then when I thought about it, I was like, I am really like on 10, stressing over these
Yep.
things that we need to get done
Mhm.
instead of realizing that, hey, just do it as you can, manage it as you go.
Right.
And so many times we just stay in that mode of just getting things done, getting things done, getting things done, that we don't even realize what's going on in our body. So
Exactly.
we got a headache, we just go and get it, we just go and get an
Oh,
aspirin.
we just popping aspirins,
That's
right?
right.
Well, I know I need to get some rest. I'll get some rest this weekend, or I won't do this. But you know, it's always something that's going to come up when you say that I'm going to get some rest this weekend, or I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to
And then
relax.
something else comes
Then
up.
something comes up. Hey, man, can you come help me move? Oh, yeah, sure, no
And then we
problem.
do it. So then we overextend ourselves,
Right.
and then we're wondering why
One,
we're
I'm already tired.
exactly.
Right. My body is already telling me I'm tired
Hmm.
because I have physical. I mean, I have headaches and I have some other traits that's telling me that. And then I'm going to continue to push myself. I don't even have a chance to rebound from the stress I was already under
All right,
all week.
absolutely.
So we have to have time to come down off of that.
So I'm gonna take some. We got some folks in the house. Let's see if we can recognize them. I don't know if maybe we got Michelle and Jason. Y'all gotta excuse my
Mm-hmm. Go
my.
for it, Mama.
Yep.
Latoya, I'll put that.
Did it said I'm fine. I was getting ready to
That's
click
it.
on her.
Yep.
So this is another setup. Like I said, new. We have our laptops because we're away from the thing. So then DS. So that says, "Hey, Dar here, tuning in from Virginia." All right,
Right.
all right. Got welcome, welcome, welcome. Then we have Christine, right?
Tapped in. All
Tapped
right.
in,
Thank you.
tapped
Thank
in.
you.
All right. So guys, what we want you to know is that let's go. Let's what are your thoughts about some of the things when you don't even realize that you're stressed? Right? Has anybody ever experienced where you're just running crazy
Yes.
and then things are just
I'm just going to
out
answer
of
for you
control?
guys. I already know.
Things are just out of control.
Yep.
Right?
But
You're
I'm in control. Because once I get done with this one task, I'll be straight.
you know another thing that we do in our relationships, a huge stress is the stress of work.
Oh my
A
goodness.
lot of people bring their stress home from work, and
Yeah.
they don't recognize the toll that it takes on their relationship, and they think that it's relationship issues when it's just really just stress.
True. Email is one of the big culprits.
Hmm.
Email, because people don't know when to shut off work.
We
They
don't.
can work all the time. Someone send you an email at 8, 9 o'clock at night.
You feel obligated to answer it.
Yes. So when do you
I
shut
mean,
down?
that was a big stress for me. So not only is it a stress for you, but it's the stress for your mate.
Of
Because
course.
now you're
Why are you
responding.
answering it? Why are you doing this?
Why
This is
are you
my time.
answering? Why are you
Now,
responding? Why
now I
do you
have
need
issue.
to? Now we have an issue in our
Right.
relationship that really has nothing to do with us because we haven't set the boundaries. We haven't set the boundaries in our relationship or at work. So we talk about boundaries, right? Having healthy boundaries. And part of the coping mechanism, stress is stress is one of those things that it creeps in everywhere it can.
For sure.
So we are talking about that me and my husband we're not having sex, right? So
Right.
people are talking about, well, we don't have sex, well, we don't do anything, he doesn't want to do anything, she doesn't want to do anything, we're not where we used to do, the love is gone.
Mhm.
And we think it's the relationship, when what it is we are allowing the things in our lives that have now taken us to the brink of stress
Mhm.
to interfere in our relationship, and we're not even calling a spade,
Well, you can't because you don't
right?
even know that you're getting played
Absolutely.
by yourself.
Absolutely. So I know
So
Jason.
I want to say one thing here. Michelle says insomnia. Yes. Yeah, you can't sleep, right?
Yep. Yep.
So you're up all
Absolutely.
night.
Yep.
One, you don't have enough rest. Secondly, you can't shut your mind off because it's racing. You're
Yep.
thinking about all the million things that you need to have done. So the next day, it's not any better because you still have to deal with raising the kids. You got to deal with the husband. You got to deal with the the
So
the life itself, and then work on top of
exactly.
that.
So Michelle, let me ask you: when you were experiencing insomnia, what was your first thoughts? Did you even was your first thought that this is stress, or was it that I have so much going on, I just got to stay up now, I can't sleep? It could be this, it could be like. Was your first thought that it was the stress of all the things that you needed to do? And then once you answer that question, did
It's just funny because she just said that. She said, your brain doesn't shut off your
turn
to
off
do.
work,
Yeah, no,
the
it
to-do
doesn't.
list, etc. Exactly. And so just being open and honest, let's see
Anxiety
what
and
that.
stress. Yep.
Yes, yes. So were you able to see how it may or could have taken an effect on your relationship?
Mm.
The cause of stress now affecting your relationship. So answer that for us.
But I'm
And
gonna get into this. She just posted this. She said, Pat and I use pillow talk to de-stress.
and reconnect. Exactly. And so the biggest key is, and why I asked her that, when she couldn't sleep,
Mm-hmm.
did she recognize it as stress? Because most of the time we can't recognize stress.
Right.
So we come in from a busy day with a
She said
busy.
yes, definitely.
So we come
She
in
said yes, definitely.
we come in from a busy day,
Yep.
right? From work.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know I've done this. Somebody cuts you off in traffic.
Ha.
You
Yes.
upset,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you've had the stress of work. Somebody at work then pissed you off. Your
Mm-hmm.
boss pissed you off. You have these deadlines you have to do. The day is over. You got all these things you got to do at work. Like you said, not only your brain not turning off from work,
Mm-hmm.
but your brain not turning off from all the things you got to do once you get home.
Right.
So now you're at work thinking about all the things you got to
Gotta
do
do
when you
it
get
home.
home. And when you're on your way home thinking about, I still got work to do at work. Now somebody cuts you off. Now you're even more upset.
Yeah, but
So
check this out. Your brain is working with the insomnia, right? So that's your thoughts and your brains. But
it is.
guess
It
what
is.
else is working? Your body.
Yep.
All
Absolutely.
your organs, all your feelings, all
All of the
your
time.
emotions.
All of the
It
time.
never shuts off.
Then we walk into the house
Yep.
and Jason says, "What did you take out for dinner?" And what do we do, guys? What do
Boom.
we snap.
We hit the
We snap.
Yep.
And we never stop to think, could this be stress? Could this be stress?
No.
We don't even stop to recognize the fact that we have now dropped the bomb on somebody and they had nothing to do. They asked you and it could be your husband, it could be your daughter, it could be your son, it could be your neighbor,
Right.
it could be the dog.
Yeah.
He just came and wanted a hug and he barked and you just went off,
Yeah.
right? So most of the time we have to be extremely sensitive to what is triggering us.
Mm.
So before we can manage stress, we have to be able to understand the symptoms of stress, right? We have to be able to recognize it. We have to be able to become aware of when we are stressed out. And I know from experience with
Okay.
other people, I'm not
Okay.
going to say any names,
Okay.
not you,
That's okay. I mean, you can
that
use
I
me.
can talk with someone and I will say, don't let those people stress you out.
Mhm.
And they will say, they're not stressing me out. But they can't see
How
that
being
they're stressed.
Oh, yeah.
Because it becomes a coping mechanism to say, I'm not stressed. It becomes, how do we cope with the issues in our lives that are not healthy?
Right.
Now we're creating unhealthy habits that become a part of us,
Mhm.
right? And it becomes our norm. So
Yep.
now we holler, we scream, we upset, we're agitated, we're irritated, we're always arguing. we have become that nasty person all the time,
Yeah.
and it's become normal to us.
Right.
So we
Right.
can't even see that we've become something different by stress taking over our lives.
That's
And
right.
we are not even in control anymore. But we're saying, I'm not stressed. I'm not stressed. I'm fine. They're not bothering me.
You know, it sounds funny when you say it like that, but actually that's how it is. You're
That's
like, I'm
exactly
in
how it
control. I'm
is.
like, I'm good. I'm good. No,
Right.
I'm not gonna let them bother me. I'm not gonna let them bother me, right? But I'm gonna talk about it for the rest of the night with everybody I come in contact with. But it's
Whoever
not
will
bothering
listen.
me.
Whoever will listen.
Right. I'm gonna tell this same story, and I'm gonna tell you, once you start telling these stories, your body, you put so much stress on your body because you bring in all of those feelings and emotions.
That's another addiction. Stress is
Yeah.
another addiction.
Yeah, because you have to feed that monster.
Yes, you do. And once it's fed and it keeps getting fed,
Mhm.
it becomes less for us to control what we used to control.
Right.
So let's become aware. So tonight's topic was really about being able to recognize these issues, right? If I get upset at the drop of a dime, the saying goes, right? If I get upset easily, then that should be an indication that there's some stress going on there. And if my coping mechanism is that I'm not stressed, they're not stressing me out, but you cannot take 5 minutes to sit down and just de stress and relax yourself just by thinking your own thoughts, that's an indication of stress, right? If you're in traffic and you get pissed off because somebody cuts in front of you, that could be an indication of stress because we should never, it doesn't matter what anybody does, we should never be at the point of a breaking point because someone cut us off. We cannot maintain ourselves to keep our composure, right?
Right.
If you can't keep your composure in a lot of situations,
Mm-hmm.
we gotta recognize these underlying stress issues.
Or what we do is we're in a stressful situation, say
Mhm.
at work or wherever,
Right?
right? And we can't really act out the way we want to.
That's true.
But then we come home
Ooh.
and then we act out on
Right.
our loved ones.
You can't say
I
what you
can't
want to
say
say.
what I wanted to say for the past 8 hours, but when
Right.
I get home, I'm gonna unleash on everybody that says anything that put me down. I'm gonna let it
You're
ride.
at the grocery store and the woman rang up the wrong chips and you are going off.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever saw that? You're somewhere
And
and
you
somebody is just going off and you like, wow, was that necessary? Those we have to pay attention to these stress triggers,
Well,
right?
yeah. Well, we have to pay attention to the stress triggers. But here's the thing: what are they?
And so that's what we're talking about,
Right.
right?
What are
The,
they? What
the,
are they for you?
right. That's
Is it
true.
work? Is it parenting? Parenting itself is stressful.
Ooh, baby.
Adulting is stressful.
I mean, I know a lot of people when they have kids, when they have their first child, or
Mhm.
sometime their second child, or sometime it could be their third, that is just too much stress.
Yeah.
It's too much stress, and they think that it's a part of parenting and it's a part of life when it's really not.
Right.
It's not being able to actually manage it, understand it, cope it, and not let it take over our lives.
Yes.
Parenting doesn't have to be stressful. It only becomes stressful when we lose control,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so now I'm hollering at my kids and my kids are hollering at each other. That is all an indication that
And
there's
then
some
now we
stress
are going
going
at
on.
each other, and we can because
Absolutely.
everybody's mad with everybody.
Everybody's male. And so when we're talking about relationships, and so this is a big thing. So even if you're not married, right? Even if
Mhm.
you're not married or you're dating,
Yeah.
or you're looking for Mr. or Mrs. Right,
Yep.
you all stressed up, wound up, twisted up that if you looking for Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, they can't even find you because when they walk past you, you so wound up you may pop off on them.
Yep.
Right? So we're talking about, well, how do I find Mr. Right? How do I find Mrs. Right? If you can't manage yourself, you won't even be able to recognize when they show up because you'll be too wound up to even realize that that's Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. You're not open,
Right.
right? Nobody.
No,
You're
because
not going to.
you're too wound up. You're
You're
too tense. You can't even see. So you can't even see the right person that's in front of you when they present themselves because
Now, go ahead.
I'm just saying you can't see them in front of you.
You can't because you're so busy dealing with the issues in your mind
Yeah.
and in your life that you're not even really mentally or physically available for a relationship. Right? And so now also we want to say don't get confused. You can also be very stressful and be extremely quiet. which that is an indication too when you become withdrawn. So now I'm stressed out, you're stressing me out, I become withdrawn in my relationship, or I become withdrawn from work. And
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes stress, depending on the person, can affect us in many different ways. So withdrawing from what you typically do, not being around people you would typically enjoy, that is an indication of stress also. Stress is one of those things that it will wreak havoc on your insides, on your health. And by the time you realize it was stress, you are on 5 or 6 different medications.
Oh
You
yes.
are in somebody's hospital emergency room,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or you're laying up for weeks wondering what happened, what's wrong with me, why do I feel this way? Is it something I ate?
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we have to pay attention to these stress triggers in our lives that can be big or small. I know I was in a class and one of the women, we were having a conversation and she said that a stress trigger, she just happened to mention it. She was watching the news all the time.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that will set you off and you don't even
so
realize it.
I don't
And
know.
then you go to bed on top of that.
So
That's the bad thing, right? So now you're going to internalize all this junk, right? It's get you all fired up, pissed off. You're supposed to be winding down for the day, and then you go to bed. And then you wonder why you're up.
when you wake up, and then when you wake up in the morning, you
You got some
already
more
upset.
news.
You already upset from the
Right.
night before. Now you're looking at some more news. And what is going on in the world, even though you think it's not affecting you, if you have emotions attached to what you're looking at and what you're feeling, it's affecting you. And now that is in your relationship. That becomes a part of you unless you can understand and manage and understand how to manage, right? How to detach yourself from all the stressors in the world.
Yep. So the theme for the night is managing stress, right?
Yes.
So we want you to try to.
Mastering stress. First thing is, so we're going to become the master of it. We have to recognize
Right,
it.
but I'm saying, but they need to recognize and find out what is your triggers.
Yes.
What
Yes.
is it that sets you off?
Mm.
Right? If work sets you off, then maybe you need to just find a balance, right? And we'll talk about the whole work life balance, and that's coming up in a few episodes. Um, but there is a lot of things that you really need to pay attention to. I mean, if you feel like
I was going back with Michelle's. Go ahead. I'm just putting the thing up.
no, I was just saying. So find out what your triggers are, and if you're hollering and screaming and it doesn't make you happy in these certain situations, pay attention to them.
Some
Those are signs.
Yeah, sometimes arguing is not about the issue that you're arguing about.
9 times out of 10 is not.
It's not. All right. So I was just going back to Michelle's comment when she said we also do individual and couples therapy to help.
Yes.
And that's what I would recommend. We are so afraid of the word therapy,
Yes.
right? But then we want to complain about the issues in our relationship
To people that can't help.
to people who cannot help.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
So one of our things is that's what Jason and I do.
Yes.
We're here to help couples who have um, gotten to a point in their relationship where it's could be a bump in the road, right? We're helping those couples who have lost their connection, lost their fizzle. We coach you, right? So that's what we do. We're here to help you to see the signs and to manage what is going on in your life instead of letting your life manage you. So as Michelle said, right? Couples therapy. So the next one, Michelle's, I don't know what it was, Michelle,
Yep.
but I'm sure you right. All right. Tuning in from Florida. Well, welcome, Florida. All right.
In the house. All right.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see what DS says. Positively, it also such a lie, LOL. And it shows. You guys have to excuse me because I can't see on this and I'm a little distant from there. I think that may have said positively, right? It is also such a lie, LOL, and it shows, right? How we think we can manage it. If I'm not mistaken, that's what you were talking about. Rita Lindsay is tuning in saying, hey, family.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, DS. So J Scott the second, stress is another addiction. Yes, it is. Absolutely.
But he's laughing
we get addicted. Yes.
Yeah.
And so it becomes our norm. And that's why I say sometimes people have to recognize if I cannot unwind and turn myself off, that's an indication that I'm addicted to the stress. Right? And so DS says if you don't tell where your body has been, your body will tell you where you have been.
Exactly.
It can't be ignored.
Yeah, it can't,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. So when we think that we're in control and our body is this is just a normal process of life, you guys better wake up. You better start making sure that you can manage the stress. And first, before you can manage, you have to be totally aware of the indications of what is triggering your stress,
Yep.
right? If you walk into work and you immediately feel overwhelmed, now overwhelmness is an indication that you're stressed.
Yes.
We think that we're supposed to feel stressed when
I
like
don't know where
oh,
that came from.
like overwhelming is okay.
Right.
No, overwhelming means that it's too
You're
much
losing
flooding.
control. That's what it
It's too
means.
much
You didn't
flooding
lost
in.
your stuff, or you're in a form of losing your stuff.
And when, as you said before, when we can't lose control because of the situation we're in, which means if we're at work and we cannot lose it or
Right.
find a way, an outlet, a healthy outlet for it, then we hold it in
Ooh.
and we find the first
Ooh.
outlet that we can,
Yep.
and we're dumping our baggage on someone who had nothing to do with the stresses that we incurred.
If that's the outlet that we find, sometimes we find other ways to
Mhm.
relieve pressure, whether it be drugs and alcohol. So there's other ways that
Yes.
we can try to relieve that
Yes.
pressure
So
if we don't want to take it out on someone.
yes. So J. Scott II said, after you snap, you be like, wow, how long have I been holding that in?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Renelle and Angela in the house. Thank
Hey
you.
guys.
Guys, good to see you. Great podcast, guys. Stress is a very important topic in managing. Sometimes we need to step back from what's around us to see what's important. You know, and
Before you lose it, that's the thing. You step back and you recognize before you actually lose it, because that's what happens. Because once stress jumps in, it drifts you guys apart, right? And now you got this big old wedge in your marriage and in your relationship, and you can't come together because you haven't dealt with the stress that you have in your individual lives.
the reason why we're having this conversation is because people don't realize that stress is the issues in their relationship. So you say we have to step back, but if we don't take the time to really look at ourselves and ask ourselves, why am I blowing up? Why am I holding stuff so long? Why am I irritated? Why is things bothering me so much? If we don't take on the responsibility to find out what's going on with us, we can't step back. You can
Right.
click on the next thing. So
Oh no, I'm laughing at Michelle. That's funny.
I'm sorry, I took it off. Okay. Did you put it on?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
All right, so she said this ring app. I'm with you with this, Michelle. Yeah, because they keep a lot of stuff up with these lost dogs. And did you see this? Did your lights blink? All this stuff.
Michelle.
Yeah, I mean it's a good tool, but come on now, that's extra stress.
You know what? I had to catch myself because I was like, I really wanted to write on there, why don't you guys get a life? Like every 5 minutes.
Tell me everything.
5 minutes it was
I
going
heard
on.
a car going down the street at a high rate.
What's going on? There's police activity. You'll find out if it's something important.
Yeah.
You need to know everything that's going on. Hey, there's a lost dog in my front yard. Do anybody know like it was? Yes, that ring app is definitely a stress.
It's stressful. It's almost worse than the news.
To agree.
Yeah.
So our case in point is that, guys, if we don't stop to recognize the things that are stressing us, how can we ever expect our relationships to flourish? Because the stresses that we internalize, they have to come out. You can't hold them down. It's going to affect your health and it's going to affect the people around you. Right. So we manage that, right? Some of the ways that we would say that you can manage it is with meditation.
For sure.
So if there's a point, anyone out there listening, either now or in the recap, right, or the replay, if you find yourself getting easily agitated, you're getting upset, things are bothering you, first stop and ask yourself, is this a stress trigger for me? Because if you don't recognize what's a stress trigger, you can never conquer it. You can't master it. First, we have to be honest with ourselves. I am feeling stressed. This is stressing me out, right? First, we have to be honest. Then we have to be in tune with ourselves about what is really going on. So when you and your mate, or if you're not connected, if you're not having sex, if you're not going out, if you're not feeling, if things are just, kind of like blind, or you doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, ask yourself why. What are some of the things that have caused us to get to this point? And then how can me as a person, not my mate, not my husband, how can me as a person, what can I do to be more in tune with the things that are bothering me so that I can handle them, manage them, see them differently, so now I can start working on my relationship? You cannot start working on your relationship until you start managing the things that take place in your life. I can't manage my relationship if I can't manage myself.
True.
If I can't take control of me, how am I going to take it? Understand when you're telling me something that bothers you, how am I going to be able to react to my husband or my wife in a delicate manner, in an empathetic manner, or in an understanding manner? How are we going to communicate on a different level if I'm all stressed out and I'm not willing to take accountability for the things that are
You can't.
occurring in my life?
You can't. You can't
Right?
take accountability.
The first thing we want to do is we want to play the blame game, right? We
Right, which
always
is
talk about
easy,
the blame
right?
game.
Because I don't have to take responsibility. I can blame it off on someone else.
We have to recognize this. So, another, lots of times we think that working, long hours or doing oh, I worked, a lot of hours this week and it didn't affect me. It's affecting you some type of way,
Yeah, lack of
right? In
sleep.
your
It's
so
just
so when you get
lack
lack
of
of
sleep
sleep,
is one of them.
so when you get a lack of sleep, what
Eating
happens?
habits.
So what happens when you
Oh,
have a
you're irritable.
You're irritable.
Yep.
You're irritable. You upset over little things that wouldn't
Yep.
typically bother you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I know people say, "Oh, you got to excuse them. They hangry," right? Because they're angry and hungry.
Right.
Which
But
that but again, that's something that we're allowing to take control of our bodies instead of us taking control of it.
Mhm.
So we're making excuses for people who act out in ways that are unacceptable because they're hungry, right? Which could be a stress trigger for them, right? Or a stress trigger for the people who are around them.
so
That doesn't make it acceptable.
when I get a little hangry, or
I don't get hungry. What you talking about?
oh, right, like I need to get something to eat like right now.
But see, I say it calmly, right?
You do.
I'm like, look, I'm feeling a certain type of way. I can
Right.
feel some stress coming on.
Right.
I can't do any work. Like, I'm gonna need to get something to eat right now because I don't want to. I'm recognizing it,
Okay.
right? So the first thing is to be aware.
Right.
So if I'm aware, instead of me just going off, you go, what the heck wrong with you? Isn't that a whole lot better?
Yeah. That way I don't have to be. I don't have to feel a certain way.
Let's take some more comments. Let's see. What did Michelle say after that? I had to stop checking it. Yep, as often. Amen.
Oh, you have to. Yes.
My outlet for stress is skating. Absolutely.
We have to find an outlet.
Kelly said, "Hey, welcome back,
Hey, welcome back, Kelly. Miss you.
Sandra. I tell you one thing, it ain't them. It's me carrying the stress bag. And no, it's both. It's them too, Sandra. It's them carrying the stress bag because even though you're carrying it, you are leaking it everywhere you go, even if you think you're in control. And that's the bad thing because if you're carrying around the stress bag, which means that you know how much burden you have on your shoulders.
A lot.
You know what that's doing to the inside of you.
Yeah.
Do you know your cardiovascular system? Wait, hold on. You know because you're a nurse,
Oh,
right?
you know.
You know. You
How's
know.
the stress bag go?
Nurse uniform right there in that picture.
Yeah, let
If
the
you
stress
don't know,
bag
you
go.
should know that stress, baby, let it go. Let it go. Kelly said, yes, stress is real. And we all know that stress is real. We all know that stress affects our health. Stress affects our body.
Yes.
But yet, we do not take control over it.
Because it's silent. That's why.
Right? That's what we do. We do not.
I mean, what do you give for if you go to the doctor? It's like, man, I'm feeling stressed. What do they give you? They can't prescribe anything for
And
you.
the thing is, we don't need to go to the doctor. We need to eliminate. We need to recognize the stress triggers,
Right.
and then figure out how to relieve them. Rita says she goes skating. Dennis said true story. Dennis, what is your true story? Working a lot and then coming home and going off on everybody because they didn't do what you wanted to do. My outlet for stress is meditation. Absolutely. All right. Stress can kill you. I'm pretty sure there's probably a bunch of people right now that says I don't know what I died from, and then they found out it was stress. Right?
I was fine before this.
We say
You ever had a job that you were just thrilled to have, right? You love the job, you did everything for the job. Then you end up switching jobs.
Go ahead.
And then you figured out that job wasn't the best job for you, and it was so stressful that it was causing all types of issues. Whether it has you getting gout, high blood pressure, headaches all the time, just not feeling.
My sister, she was real stressed at one of her jobs, right?
Yeah.
She was real stressed, had all these ailments, and soon as she switched
left.
jobs,
She didn't
all
have
her
them anymore.
And people don't realize that. They don't think it's stress.
Yeah.
They don't
I mean,
think it's
because you know what? I mean, as a people, I know we want to do the very best we can.
Right.
And sometimes that's at a detriment to us.
That's true.
So you have to make sure that you do as best you can while you're there, but you have to take some time off. You have to have some downtime, please.
Take a break in between right here. So if you guys are wondering why I'm wearing a pink tutu and I got my pink hammer,
That's a hamper? Well, you know you don't do laundry.
why do my one. So why I have my hammer, it is because it is National Breast Cancer Month. So I will be walking tomorrow for Sister Strut, breast cancer awareness. So if you have not gotten into some type of walk, run, jog, something, go do it. This is for breast cancer awareness and fighting breast cancer. So I just wanted to do a shout out for them. Sister Strut, I will be walking for them tomorrow for breast cancer awareness. And that's why I'm wearing my pink tutu and I got my pink ribbon. All right?
So that means you can just wake up and go tomorrow.
No,
Oh.
because I can't be wearing my Love and Beyond I Do shirt.
Okay.
All right. So the other thing is before we get into some more topic conversation, because now we're going to talk about some of the things that you can do. And so you guys have shared with us some of the things that you do to relieve stress.
Yep.
I know Jason and I sometimes during COVID,
Which was a stressful
we
situation.
snuck out and took a little walk and then came back. But that was way after they said, okay, like start coming out. And I know when we were inside, right? Because I know a lot of people dealt with stress inside,
Mhm.
but we walk. Jason and I
Yep.
walk. Sometimes when we're working and we've been working like nonstop, I'll say, let's just take a break and let's go
Yep.
walk. Because sometimes it's good to clear your head.
And that's good because
And
you lose your creativity after a while. You can't sit down and hammer away for 12 hours and thinking that you're
but
being
it
as
helps you to stay in
productive as
control.
possible.
So if
It
you're
does.
at work and you have a pile of work in front of you and you have a deadline that you know you need to get out,
Mhm.
sometimes we can get it out, but sometimes let's just take a break. Let's take a walk. Go get a drink of water. Go do something. Listen, I know oftentimes for me, sometimes when I'm a little there's maybe something that may have pushed a button that's no longer connected, but it still got a little I will listen to something that inspires me. I will listen to a Kirk Franklin song. I'll listen
Okay.
to something that is inspiring, something that takes my mind off of negative things and
Mhm.
brings it into positive things.
Yeah.
So, when we're talking about in relationships, I want you to kind of be aware of some of the stress triggers for yourself as well as your mate. And then maybe just kind of in a conversation express that maybe this is a stress trigger. How can we work on this? How can we see if this is actually something that you're internalizing and it's showing up in our relationship ugly?
Yeah.
Right. So let's be more aware of things that could be stressing our partner out
Yeah.
and then help them to become aware of it so that we can do things to help us stay in control.
Or
Right.
being alert, right? Just paying attention to your mate, right? I had a episode a while ago where I guess I was very stressed and tense and all this other stuff, and then Tina being alert, she's like, "You don't look good. You know, you need to go get checked out. You need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself." Me, I'm like, I'm fine, baby. I'm all good. Everything's fine with me, right? But she was just alert enough and just paying enough attention to me to say, "Hey, no, I think you need to go get checked out." And I'm glad she did. I was fighting it the whole step of the way, but I'm glad she did, and she stuck to her guns because I was sure I was throwing everything at her. I'm like, "Baby, look, I ain't got time to be doing this. I got this to do." There we go. There go that stress, right? I got this to do. I got that to do. I ain't got time to be going to the doctor looking at this.
I don't
I don't
want to
want to
waste
waste
any
this time,
money.
money, time. I don't want to waste any of that kind of stuff. But if you're not here, then I mean, like it's a mute point. So it's nice to have someone that's in tune with you to know that you're not normal, right? This is not you. So I was like, okay, fine.
And arguing is not normal.
Arguing
Being
is not.
stressful, being on 10 is not normal. So Michelle said boundaries. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, you do.
And so we
Yeah.
have to make sure that not only are we setting up boundaries, but what are we doing? We're sticking by our boundaries.
Yes.
Because sometimes you set up boundaries and what do people do? They walk right on over them.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So you like,
And
well,
then you don't say anything
it's
and
her.
you accept it. And
It's her
then it
too.
makes you feel worse because now you didn't set these boundaries and someone crossed right over them.
You
And
don't know how now you're even more stressed because
Right.
now you have to deal with the fact that you set them up. You have boundaries, but now they've crossed them. Now you have to
right,
figure out
but now you
how,
feel awkward because you don't want to offend the person for offending you after they didn't crossed over your boundaries. So yeah,
and
you
then
put
and then
yourself.
that causes stress because now you have to now express yourself because
Yes.
it was a boundary and the other person is not
Yes.
respecting your boundaries.
Exactly.
Boundaries are so important in any relationship. Mother, daughter, husband, wife, sister, brother, they're so important. Rita says she goes to the gym. I know Jason and I, she says she goes to the gym to relieve her stress. I know
Yeah, we go there daily.
we go there daily and
Yep.
it definitely helps. I'm a
Yep.
crafter. It's very relaxing.
Yep.
And so we have to not only do it to relieve stress, but be able to do it to manage the stress, but also to recognize it and then be able to manage the stress in our lives without doing it.
Right.
So the things that relieve stress, the de-stressors, we have to become aware of. Like, right, we have to one become aware of what stresses us out,
Mm-hmm.
be very in tune to it, and then start working on ways to de-stress. And then once we do that, working out, taking a walk, as Kelly said, crafting, once
Mm-hmm.
we do those things, now we have to apply that meditation, that calmness into the areas of now trying to disconnect all the things that stress us. Because if we're getting stressed and then we're running over here to craft to de-stress, then we come back to stress. The whole purpose is to get rid of stress in your life.
Oh,
How do
yeah.
we get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
Let's recognize it and then let's tackle, right? Let's tackle getting rid of it.
Now here.
Sometimes we got to let some things go, some people go, some situations go, or
Or.
once we do the things that make us feel better,
Mm-hmm.
now we have to go and work on ourselves so that those things that used to trigger us no longer trigger us.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes
We
too,
got to let go and let God.
that we have. That's what we have to do. Now,
Mm-hmm.
here's another thing. Now we talk about going on vacation.
Mm-hmm. Calm app, classical music.
You know what? I got into classical music. I love it. It is very
I
calming,
like the
right?
calm app, but
Yeah.
sometimes Michelle says
Especially like it
jazz
when I'm
music.
eating. Classical
Yeah,
music when I'm eating. I love it.
yes,
Or if
I
I
love
have a lot
classical
going on.
music, jazz and blues.
But
So
I want to say this about
okay,
vacation.
go ahead.
Vacation is supposed to be relaxing and you're supposed to have fun doing it and enjoying. It should not be stressful. You should not have such a strict schedule. We
That's
have to
right.
be here at this time. We have to be up at this time. We have to be here. We have to be doing this. We have to be doing that.
It's nothing wrong. Right, right. So we're saying
That's no.
nothing
I mean,
wrong
that is
with
that's
an
not relaxing,
itinerary, right? It's nothing
right?
itinerary. But ask the person you're going on vacation with, they just want to just relax.
I mean, that's the
Right.
whole purpose of
Yeah.
relaxing. I mean, that's fine. We can do a couple things, but I mean, I might want to if I'm on the beach, I might just want to sit and just let the wind blow, right?
So another thing, a big get with me is going on vacation with my family. That's a big get.
And what
That's
does it
a
get?
good in theory.
Yep. It starts out good.
It starts
You
out.
know you got this. Oh man, it's gonna be
And so the more
wonderful.
people you involve to make decisions,
Yeah.
the more stressful it becomes.
Yes.
So this person wants to go over here. This person wants to go over there. No, these people. Well, my kids can't do this. I can't do.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so what in mine? What
was
was
a
the?
beautiful thing. You saw it all coming together. You all made
Yes,
the decisions to do
yes,
this, and it
yes.
was just glorious, right?
It was. It
Until
was.
until
It
you
was.
guys landed and got to the
Yeah.
hotel and
So
nobody could
so
make.
guys, the first thing is let's recognize the things that are causing us stress. Let's start when things are stressing us out at that moment. Let's breathe.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a breather, let's start practicing breathing. Let's breathe.
Yep.
Let's stop. Let's take a moment to kind of figure out why is this thing stressing me out
Yeah.
and how can I stop it because now you have given again, I'm a big person talking about power.
Yep.
Now you have given your power away.
Yeah.
So let's not just keep rolling with the punches. Let's stop the punches. There's no need to struggle when we are in control of our own lives. The
I
other
like
thing,
that. But I want to just kind of hammer on the breathing part. Sometimes when you stop and you just take a breath, inhale,
breathe
exhale, and you just pause,
before
you
you
just breathe.
yeah, before you just blurt out and start going off on somebody or your mate and just just throwing up on them all this. Stop and just breathe. Just taking a deep breath and just allow
Yeah.
yourself to pause
That
in
pause
between
helps. Yeah.
the situation.
Yeah.
Pause in between the situation. But also, I wanted to share with you guys. So, let's share some stuff. I wanted to share with you guys our. If you have not read our article, we were featured in Bold Journey magazine. It's a magazine for entrepreneurs. So please go and it will be in the details of the show. So please go and look at our article, take a read, and you will get to know more about Jason and Tina Marie.
Ooh.
Some stuff that you probably didn't know. So if you're not familiar with us, go take a read, find out about us. You can always shoot us an email and ask us questions. All right. That is Jason right there. That's his beautiful wife, Tina Marie.
It's just us. We had a good time. Yeah,
Yes.
it was a nice interview. We enjoyed it.
Yes. Also, we want to let you guys know that our pre recorded podcast will be coming out on Wednesday. I know you guys always got this confused. So, we have a pre recorded podcast where Jason and I talk about topics. We give you tools and techniques and issues and how to work on them. So, that comes out on Wednesday.
Yes.
Friday is our
Live
live conversations. It's our podcast that is about live conversations. So, next Wednesday, the podcast will be about emotional support. And that is so important. Not only how are you supporting me, because I think if we're not getting emotionally supported, then that kind of uh, breaks down a
Yep.
lot of the other areas in
Yep.
our relationship. So our next week Wednesday podcast comes out on Wednesday. You can go to our website. Where else can they find us, Jay?
Where they can find us?
Yes, for the podcast.
Oh, for the podcast, they can find us everywhere. Well, one of the places that they can find us on our website, legendaryrelationship.com. You can find the podcast. You can find we are now streaming our live on our website. So if you go to legendaryrelationship.com, click on live, you can get the live feed right there.
All
So,
right. So you can, anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can go to YouTube and watch it. So our podcast comes out on Wednesday.
that's the
Next week
pre-recorded.
will be about emotional support. And then next Friday, we will discuss the podcast. We will take questions. We will talk about it. Jason and I, again, we will have a conversation. The whole point of our Friday Night Live is to have live conversations to talk about issues that couples are facing that no one wants to talk about, right? Let's get real. How are we going to have good relationships if we're not talking about the issues behind the closed doors? All right, so let's pull back the unveil. Let's pull back the curtain, like in the Wizard of Oz, and let's unveil all of the skeletons and let's talk about them, because there's really nothing that cannot be talked about or discussed and handled in a respectful way that can get your relationship going in the right direction, right? But when we don't know what to do, then we continue to go down the same road, and then we end up with broken relationships, uh, broken hearts,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
When most of the time people really love each other, they just don't know how to get from where they are being stuck to where they want to be.
Right.
And so that's where relationships like Jason and I, relationship coaches, come into play.
Yep.
We help coach you. We're like what do we say?
We like the Deion Sanders of marriage.
That's right. We
Yeah.
like the Deion Sanders of marriage.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we can take you from where you are and get you to where you need to be
Yeah.
by coaching.
And
when you understand
it'd
the
be all
right things to do.
positive, and we just need to tweak a few things. One is your perception, how you view yourself, how you view your circumstances, and what has happened to you in your life. We don't talk a lot about the past because the past doesn't matter because it's already gone. We talk about the right now.
So we are not therapists. We are not counselors. We are coaches. So when you want to win the game, you bring in the right coach. We are your Phil Jackson when the Bulls won 7 rings. 7, right?
Six.
6?
Yeah.
Well, maybe in my mind it was 7.
Yeah, it might have been.
Okay, 6 rings.
Yeah.
All right. So if you want to get the right relationship, you got to get the right coach. All right. So I think that is it. Are there any more questions that we did not cover? Thank you again for. Oh, wait. I see one from Dennis. What did Dennis say? I love this episode and decided to just watch and listen. Thank you, Dennis. So, Dennis, if you have any questions, because Dennis is. Oh, our leaderboard. Can you bring that up?
Oh,
I'm glad you said that. So we do have a leaderboard. And what it is that when you share our stories, our reels, our posts, when you share them, we have a tally. We keep tally of them. And so right now, our leaderboard, who was number one,
Man,
is
if I say
come on, you get it, is Blue Sky.
yeah, I don't know
So
if I have that, baby. Oh, I do.
okay, so let's see who's on our leaderboard right now. The top three super fans for October. Right now, it is Blue Sky, then it is Regina Blakely, and then it is Jay Scott 2. All right, so share our post, real stories, and then you can win. I know the last winner we had was actually Regina. She
Yes.
had did the most shares, and she won a Love and Beyond the I Do
T-shirt.
T-shirt.
Yep.
Right, and then we actually had another winner, but he never mentioned, so he must have listened to the
He
podcast.
probably did.
So we gonna let him know anyway, right?
Mhm.
So Dennis, you were our winner way back when. We told you to go listen to that episode, but you can still win. You can still win, Dennis. So every time you share our story, post or reel, we keep tally of who does that. And so for October, we are giving away T-shirts, we're giving away mugs, we're giving away Visa cards. So make sure that you are in it to win it, like us.
That's
All
right.
right. So is there anything else, honey? So that is our leaderboard. Make sure that you get counted.
I
If
think
you're
that's
new
it.
to it,
Go no, go ahead. You good? I wanted to talk about the website. We just
oh,
relaunched the website.
all right.
But I did not have it in one of the assets. Sorry about that. Nope, I don't have it. But
Okay.
yeah, if you go to legendaryrelationship .com, check out the new website. If you go to podcast, under there, you can leave us a message. It's a voice recorded message. And then we will start playing those on the recorded podcast as well as the live conversations. Just
We're
drop
glad to
us a
do it.
line. Let us know what you think. If you want us to discuss anything, or if you just want to just give us an encouraging word, just drop us a line.
I know one of the podcasts before someone asked or requested if we could possibly have a way for them to call in and ask questions instead of typing it in so that we wouldn't see who was doing it. So we are working on that hopefully either next Friday or the Friday after next, but it will be soon. We will be soon. We will give you the option of being able to not only make comments by typing them in, but also by calling in and asking questions or
But if you also
expressing.
want to just jump in a conversation, you can just jump on
You
now.
could jump
So
in.
that's us.
That's right. You could always jump in. So we welcome everyone, and I think that closes it out for another Friday for us.
Ooh.
We are always here to help you in whatever way we can. If you have a question or a comment or something that you want us to discuss, you can always DM us or you can always send us an email at info@legendaryrelationship.com. And that's only one relationship. Legendaryrelationship.com.
Love it.
We're only supposed to be in one relationship at a time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, one intimate relationship
Is
at a
there
time.
yeah, one intimate relationship at a time.
No, I think that's it. Or you could just, like I said, pop on the website, go on the podcast, and leave us a message too.
All right. So
Yeah.
make sure that you like, share, and follow us. So if you're not following us, make sure you follow us so that you will know whenever something comes out, whenever anything new, whenever we're doing a live, whenever we're doing a pop up, whenever we're doing a workshop, whenever we're putting on a course. Oh, also, last thing, I'm glad I mentioned that. We are looking for couples who have been married for
Mhm.
at least a year. And we want to talk with you because we're doing research. We're doing case study research right now to help us to expand um, the impact of our course. So it's for research basis only. We're just looking for people who have been married, whether you're married now or even if you're divorced or have been in a long term relationship, I
Yep.
guess. So,
Yeah.
married, we prefer married a year or more because marriage is a little different than long term relationships, but at least married and just we just want to pick your
Yeah.
brains. We want to get more information about what is needed and what you need in relationships. So if you are interested in speaking with us, it is strictly confidential. We don't even need to know your names. You can give us fake names. It doesn't matter. We just want your information. So
Yeah.
it is for research purposes only. Please email us at info at legendaryrelationship.com.
Or you can just go to legendaryrelationship.com, go to contact us, and then just say, hey, I don't mind speaking with you. And we'll get an email and you just say it was about coaching, and it's really not about coaching, but maybe I'll change that and say just have a discussion. I think I might have discussion, and you just choose the option of discussion and zip it off, and then it's about 10 questions, right? But we need people to be open and honest because people need um,
Relationship advice.
they need help, but they need real help. They don't need superficial help.
Right.
So as we continue to build out this course, I think based on a lot of the case studies that we've done so far, we have a pretty good grasp of what needs to happen. But we're just doing
We're
even
just
more.
we're just updating
Yes.
our current course.
Yeah.
So it was effective, but there's a few things that as we were going through it, the last session.
Yes. Yeah.
Semester.
last
That's the word I'm
cohorts.
trying to say, semester. As we were going through it, we realized there may have been some things that we could have gotten a little bit deeper on, or that people may need more than other things.
Yep.
So if you are interested, again, like, share, subscribe, follow us. And so when we say subscribe means the same thing as follow on YouTube. So like, share, follow, subscribe, and you will be notified when anything is going on.
And we
If
got a
you-
lot of stuff going on. So we might as well just tell you about the book.
Okay.
All right. So we're in the process, and we'll let you in, early as we start to come up with the designs for the cover and all of those things. But that is exciting.
So we're almost done.
Almost. It's a good read. If you go back and read that article, you're going to want to pick up that book.
So we
Right?
do
So
have
check
a
out
free, we do have a free ebook too. Also,
Yep,
if you're new to
on
the
our
channel,
website,
we do
yes.
a free ebook on our channel. All right, I think that's it. So
I think
next week,
so. We want to thank everybody for
Yes,
coming out
yes.
and joining, and we appreciate you. I like my little clappers here. This is
we had a good time.
yes.
Thank you for everyone.
Well, we had yeah. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We're gonna go ahead and finish off these last few that came in.
All right.
Dennis said, "Have a great weekend."
All right.
Nancy.
Oh, quiet but here. Thanks, guys. All right.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Sandra.
So glad y'all back.
So are we.
And so this is our first time back, guys. We just getting back in the rhythm of things. But guess what? We getting ready to heat up. We are ready to take on some relationship topics and conversations and change some lives. We really are. So if there are some issues in your relationships that you do not know what to do or where to go, let's talk about them.
Yeah,
Let's throw them on the table,
Yep.
dissect them, and let's get down to the nitty-gritty where we can live healthy, happy, and beautiful relationships without what society says you can't be happy married, because we
you
are
can't.
happily married.
Yep.
All
So
right.
Angela Jones said,
All right.
love this. Thank you.
you for
guys
tuning
for
in. Let's do our outro. And as always, like Jason and I, we are in it to win it.
Till next week, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. We really appreciate you. Till next week.
True.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Subscribe and leave a review. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Legendary Relationship, or visit our website at legendaryrelationship.com. Till next time, remember to make every day count.